So, as you can guess, this is our new project. This is a legal graffiti or any kind of drawing, painting walls here in my city. And the author of this project, Arthur, has welcomed me to showcase my Mustache Man on these two walls. And as I am rusty as hell and haven't done any spray painting in 20 years, I think this is a good spot to practice. And of trying out my hand, do I even remember how to do it? What I need to do now is measure it, take a photo, so I can start working on a sketch. But before we can start creating, I think we need to sand it down a little bit, because in my paintings I use a lot of fine lines, a lot of fine detail, and I doubt I can do it with a spray paint. So I'm thinking of maybe using Posca markers. It's very important for my artwork to have fine details, fine lines that gives the overall feeling that I want to convey. So first things first, we gotta get paint, we gotta get a roller, and we gotta get this party started.
If you're new here, welcome. I'm a creative person through and through, and this is the place where I share my journey. My passions range from drawing and painting to street art, travel photography, linocut printing, and my work as graphic designer. Whether I'm creating art, traveling and capturing the world through my lens, designing bold packaging, or carving my imagination into prints, I invite you to join me on my everyday adventures, big and small. Let's get inspired to live, to love, to learn, and create.
Interestingly enough, spray paint was cheaper than to buy a basic interior paint and use a roller for the base. So I bought spray paint, and they only had the hardcore ones if you wanted a white. Every white, black and white can is, yeah, they are sold out on black and white cans. Good that I bought them in advance, because as I understand, hardcore has a bigger pressure and it's not so good and versatile for drawing and spray painting. Jeez, today is the hardest day of the year so far. I'm not gonna be able to paint it all, so I'm gonna take just a half, another half, I don't know, leave it for later, we'll see. But right now I want to clean a little bit these parts that are sticking out just a little bit. Freaking mosquitoes are eating me alive here. I did a little bit of cleaning up, just a little bit, like the biggest bumps, but it's way too hard in this heat to do it for any longer. This is what we're gonna try to accomplish. Another Mustache Man. I don't know how I'm gonna transfer it. I know the main markings, and I think I'm gonna be quicker with a tape measure and a Posca marker and just put the right dots in the right places. I just was informed how the real artists do it, but I'm not gonna cheat with my phone. I'm gonna try to do it old school and enjoy the process. I don't think this is New York Fat Cap. It's covering way too lousy. Let me check what else I have here. Could this be? Woo, here we go. I bet there are smarter ways to do this, but I don't mind. 250, but I don't mind doing this way. I have cleared my schedule so I can do this all day long, and 99% I'm gonna cover this all up because it's gonna look like shit. But for now, let's try and make the sketch as close as possible as I have it in my sketchbook. Now the mustache is 300, and I basically am doing the same. Oh my god, mosquitoes. I'm basically doing the same as I'm doing with my paintings. I make a sketch and then I transfer it to plywood. But what I do, I make a grid on the plywood and then transfer it from one grid to another grid. I know that some graffiti people use projectors and all kinds of shenanigans. Of course you can do that, but I'm a total noob and I want to do the way I know how to do it. Whoa. See my shirt? That's sweat. Ew. So one thing, how can you make eyes perfectly circular? Well, pretty easy. I use a small wooden screw and a string that has absolutely no flex. It's a synthetic wire for gift wrapping. So what I do, I measure what is my diameter, I measure where is the center, and then I just put the screw in the center of the eye, adjust my line, make it a double loop, and simple. Of course, when I'm trying to demonstrate it, it never goes the way I intended. It's not supposed to be perfect. It just so you in the ballpark of a circular geometrical form, because when I'm drawing on paper, it's way much easier. But even on paper, I don't draw it with my hand. I can, but I choose not to, because these paintings have their own concept of being very geometrical. So far so good. Now it's the most difficult. It's the small eye. If I would do this all the time, I would have made some kind of a stencil that I can cover up a little bit so it won't bleed into the white. You know what? I think first we need to do the black one. Okay, let's try it. I think I have the wrong caps with me. This one is the only one which does the job good, and this is supposed to be the New York skinny ones. The fat caps are horrible. They sprayed like they don't do the job. This one is pretty good because I can make quite a nice thin line. But if I slow down, I see it starts to spray out the paint in like blobs. That's what I don't like. Sorry, I'm making that noise with the can shaking. And now for the other iris. Let's try and put the camera here. Let's try and put it as close as we can so you can be a part of the action. So let's try in one line. That's what we want. Clean one line. Not too far from the surface or it will have soft edges, and I don't want to make an outline for the iris. And this is the part I dread the most, outlines. Shit. Yeah, outlines are hard. For professionals, it must be easy. For me, I'm scared as hell doing them. But it turns out, all this time I was working with wrong caps. And only with the black one I understood that this is the right cap, because look, almost perfect lines where black one here started to drip, but this is perfect. I can work with caps like this. Hands are starting to shake. Oh my god. Yeah, but these caps are completely different story. It's so much easier. See, I almost made a professional line from like a thinner to a more... My English today is just horrible. You need to take a break. Take a break if you need to. Because shaky hands make shaky lines. And we don't like shaky lines. We like clean lines. And that's about it. Everything that I could do with a few shitty caps and a few cans of spray paint. And now I want to detail the small stuff which I can do with a spray paint. I'm not that good with it. Also, I need extra thin lines. But you can see already my hands are tired and are getting wobbly. But I need to get in some fine lines because these are kind of good, but these need to be thicker, and I'm afraid to go start doing them twice because my hands are wobbling and you can see here the inconsistencies. So I will try to I let it dry a little bit, and I'm gonna add small details, and then so that's it. I'm done with this piece. I'm pretty happy. Knowing I haven't been doing this in a long time, I can say that caps are all the answer to a quality painting, to a quality mural. Because when I started to use this, or the right skinny cap, it made all the difference. It's so much easier to work with. It doesn't spill. The line consistency is quite good, and you can get a lot of done with those. I even added some shading because in my original artwork I used dots, I used, if my hand wouldn't be so tired, I would spray paint dots, but maybe another time. Just now I added a little bit of shade because usually my works have a little depth to them. Now to finish off with some finer details. I usually do them a lot. I like to make my paintings a little bit absurd, a little bit too much. Of course, there's a completely different story on such a big painting because I can do these small details all day long and I have no clue how it's gonna look when you step back and look at the big picture. But in general, I always, when I think it's too much, I step back, look at it, and I think, oh yeah, it looks great. I think I done detailing, and not because I want to, but I think my Posca marker is running out of ink. It starts to draw inconsistently. The ink comes out. Yeah, it's a really weird reaction. Posca's reacting to undercoat of the paint, and the Posca ink is starting like to break up into like a little desert texture, but it doesn't matter. The main thing, it should look good from a distance, as it's a big drawing, and these tiny lines are my favorites because it gives a certain look and aesthetic that I like. As I am a graphic designer, then I must have balance between thick lines and thin lines. If you have a lot of thick lines, I need to put in some thin lines. It's just my nature, and you cannot fight against nature. But pretty much I think it's done. I love how it looks. It turned out way much better than I could ever predict, because I found the right cap. If I would be continued with the wrong cap, it would all gone to shit. But as I found the right one, it looks pretty decent. And that's it basically from me. Let's step back and look at it, how it looks. I think it looks amazing. For an artist who hasn't painted with spray paint in 20 years, the last time I did it was in 2006. I think it looks good. And the small lines, I don't know if you can see them, but the small lines give a depth. As I mentioned before, if I could make my dots, but those dots need to be a little bit consistent, I should have a stencil next time. Then if I would dot it, it would give even more of a feeling of depth. But maybe I'll come back and make a stencil and try to give it a little bit of shadow, which gives another layer of goodness. But right now I'm pretty pleased. So thank you for sticking with me to this humongous project that I was so scared of doing. And as a YouTuber and an artist, I always have to ask you to come visit my blog at mycreativedisorder.com. Sometimes I write something interesting. I try to make my blog posts as possible interesting for readers, with lots of visuals, lots of photos, and you will find all my social media in those blog posts. Of course, you can join my Patreon, where we have a sticker club and a art club, where you can basically become a supporter, and from time to time I send you either stickers or original artworks or lino cut prints or anything that comes to my mind. And also, if you like this video, I hope you write me a comment. I really like reading those. At least then I know people are watching till the end, which gives me a great pleasure, as I'm trying to be a full-time artist. And when YouTube grants me some monetization, this will be one of those things that will help me to make more art and spend less time in the office. So thank you. What's my motto? My motto is stay curious. Oh my God, stay curious. I forgot my motto. Stay curious, get inspired, and be creative. See you on the next one.